All right, happy 2021. Welcome back to Conversation with the Cooks. We are glad to be done with 2020, and we're finally back after a much needed break. So baby Madden joined our family in November, so that was exciting. And then unfortunately in December, Grandma Cook passed away, so that was tough for our family. And I know she listened to every single one of these episodes though, so we're gonna dedicate today's episode to her, and we sure do miss her. Anyways, Conversation with the Cooks is presented by US Cellular. US Cellular is proud to be the official wireless partner of the Huskers. So Coach Cook, let's start this off. I want to know what your New Year's resolution was or is.
Oh,
Or do you even have one?
yeah, I really haven't made one because we started before January 1st, so it really wasn't a New Year's, except it's 2021. It felt good to start writing 2021 on my practice plans.
Yeah, I'm glad to be done with 2020. But here's what I want to know. I heard you talking a big game in your presser the other day about how, I think someone asked you, a reporter asked you how you feel about the national rankings, and you guys are ranked 5th, and you got a little cocky and said every time you've been ranked 5th, you've won a natty. What's up with that? You normally don't say things like that.
I'm just presenting the facts. So I know people like data or datum, whatever you call it, and just presenting the facts, and it gives them something to write about or think about. But also I've got my, two of my captains sitting there listening to all that going on, and I want to send a message that, hey, we're confident. We have a chance to be pretty good, and the last time that happened, we won natties. So maybe there's some good in that.
I love it. New year, new you. All right, give us some updates from your practice schedule, what that's looked like. This is the first ever spring season. They came out with the match schedule, how you feel about that. Give us an update on the newbies that are there. We can now talk about those 3 players. I think you guys have been dealing just with some interesting things, not so much injuries, but just some interesting things have happened because of COVID, and how you've handled practicing and weight. So talk about what some of the players are dealing with. I know Nicole Drunick opted out. Maybe you could touch on that. And then you guys are getting tested for COVID every day. So there's a lot of moving pieces, a lot of things going on. So just tell us about all the things.
Well, you'll have to remind me some stuff, but the first thing is you have to be adaptable. And so we talked to our team, and I've been saying this, just take it one day at a time. So we talk about that, one point at a time, one day at a time. This really forces you to have to do that because there's something going on every day. And you're right, we test every day now. We started on January 11th. We come in and we can't start the day. We can't do anything until everybody gets tested and everybody gets cleared. So it's a rapid test. You come in and you swirl in your nose 3 times, hand it to this lady, and they put it in this machine, and they check everybody. So in about 20 minutes, they know if everybody's ready to go.
Wow. Does it hurt?
No. This is you do it yourself. So now the PCR test, that if you test positive on this one isn't 100% accurate. The PCR is the one they jam down your throat, through your nose into your throat, and you gag and all that. That one's nasty. So anyway, once that happens, then we can start our day, whether that's lifting, video, rehab, getting and preparing for practice, and going to the practice. So that's kind of what starts every day is the testing lab down here in Devaney, and the ladies over there running that. So knock on wood, week 1, we're doing well, and but you're always just kind of waiting for the shoe to drop, because men's basketball is right next door, and they've shut down games and practices, and so it's you just got to be ready to adjust for that. So anyway, that part of it's going. With the newbies are here. You call them newbies?
That's what I'm calling them.
Yeah. That's what we call them.
Is that what you call them?
We call them newbies, yeah.
Oh,
So
it's
they're,
father-daughter. It's like
they're,
we're on the same brain wavelength.
yeah, they're awesome. And Lexi Rodriguez and Ali Battenhorst are starting, they went through their first practice yesterday. We kind of been doing what we call privates with them to get them, as I said, can you guys go through a 3-hour practice? And I mean, you know, when you're a stud freshman, you're saying, oh yeah, sure, no problem. They go, nope. So we spent about a week acclimating them in and doing privates with them. And then they were doing 2 days working out with Brian. And they just went through their first practice yesterday. And anyway, they're really cute. Of course, Kennedy's rehabbing, so she's not going to be training with us this spring. But they're both stepped right in and have done great. And they're,
And just to clarify, they can't play, but they can practice, be in every practice with you.
yeah, and we just got them cleared where they can travel as well. So
Oh,
we want
wow.
to integrate them as much as possible. They'll do everything but play in a match.
Will Kennedy travel since
Yep.
she's rehabbing? Okay, so they'll
Yeah,
all travel.
everybody does travel because the trade-off is we want to leave them in the dorms on a weekend.
Yeah.
Think about that. Where it's more risky, being with us or staying behind in a college dorm. Who knows what goes on the weekends in there. So we think this is the safest way. It keeps them engaged. And sometimes when freshmen get bored, they get into trouble. Not that these guys will, but they're so cute because every time I call them, you never talk to just one. They FaceTime and they're all like snuggled up and they're all together all the time.
That's good.
So
They're bonding already.
they're totally, really, really, that whole freshman class is really tight.
It's the dream team class.
We
So
call them the dream team because that
yeah.
was the dream team camp they came to, and
they've
they all
known each
just-
other.
yeah, they all just connected.
Okay, keep going. Keep giving us the updates.
So anyway, yeah, the other challenge we're dealing with is just trying to have everybody in practice. We have a lot of, we're learning a lot about how important the off-season training is and to continue with that. And these breaks have really hurt some of them. And to be honest, I think the last couple of days are the first time I felt like, okay, we are moving, jumping, reacting at a high level, and not sluggish and behind and wondering what they're doing here. So it's taken us almost 2 weeks to get where we're humming. Normally we're humming day one, but they just came off an 8-week summer program where they're running, they're jumping, they're moving, they're lifting. And anyway, I feel like we've been really sluggish, and but now you can start to see it's starting to evolve a little bit. So it's been pretty exciting. I think they were pretty excited last couple practices.
I'm happy to hear that. Okay, what about Nicole Drunick opting out? Can you talk about that at all?
Yeah, we got back and ready to start, and Nicole wanted to Zoom, and she said she wanted to opt out because of COVID, and they've had some, I guess, I don't know if it's relatives or friends in Brazil who have been impacted by COVID, and she just felt she wanted to opt out. So what that means is she can still go to school. She still gets her scholarship, but that's about it. And she can't be around the team or do anything with the team. So she's out, not playing this semester.
Okay, and then just talk about the practice schedule and then how you feel about the match schedule. Practices, I know you've had a couple 2-a-days, but they're not in school. So how are you handling it like a traditional preseason, where you're doing 2-a-days and practicing every day? Or is it more like how you practice during the season where it's just that one afternoon practice?
Well, I was going to treat it like this is a true preseason because it's 3 weeks and then we're playing. And so we were going to do usually our first 2 weeks, we go 2-a-days. So typically our week is Monday, 2 practices, Tuesday, 2 practices, Wednesday, 1, Thursday, 2, Friday, 2, Saturday, 1, Sunday off. we started off with that, but I realized our players weren't going to be able to handle that type of workload. So we backed off. We're just down to one practice a day. And part of that is we're a little bit thin at outside hitter depth wise. So I want to really make sure we don't overdo it with those guys. And also at the setting position. So we're just down to one practice today, but it's a great quality practice, and we go really hard for 3 hours. And so we feel like, and again, we have a veteran team, so they know what they need to do. And sometimes as players get older, I don't want to overtrain Lauren Stivrins or Lexi Sun. We're just managing a little bit, and it's been a long year. That's the other thing. So mentally, so anyway, I like what we're doing and how we're progressing. We may not have progressed as fast, but we also know that we're going to have to probably, as the season goes on, learn how to play 2 hard 5-game matches back to back on a weekend. That's going to be the next big test. I don't know how to simulate that in practice. I don't know if we can.
Yeah, it's tough. How do you feel about your match schedule? I know that's kind of what you expected, playing at this, the same team back-to-back nights. Do you think it's pretty fair how they worked everything out? I know there's a few Big Ten teams that you won't see this season, but I guess how do the girls feel about it, and how do you feel about the schedule?
Yeah, I really haven't asked the girls because I really don't care what they think about that. So, but I think the Big Ten did a really good job, and we primed them as coaches what we thought would be the best. I was probably one of the more vocal opinionators of what we should do and how we should do it. But the idea was to be as safe as possible, play as normal schedule as possible, play as many teams in the Big Ten as you can. And so that's why we're playing the same team back to back. We're 5 weekends away, 5 at home, and we only go to the East Coast once. And so I think we're going to Rutgers. So that means we're not going to Penn State, we're not going to Ohio State, we're not going to Maryland. And those are the long trips. They're expensive. I think with everything going on, the whole goal was to try to keep teams from traveling all the way from the west to the east and all the way from the east to the west. And I think Penn State comes here.
Last weekend, I think.
Yeah, Maryland must come here. And Ohio State comes here. So that might be their big trips coming this way, to either to us or to Iowa. So I think they did a great job. And we feel really good. I think it's going to be a really tough schedule. It's going to be very competitive. It's going to be hard to win 2 matches on a weekend for anybody. So, and then you got to throw in the whole COVID thing if, people get taken out. So you said it's just kind of one day at a time, but, hats off to the Big Ten. I think they did a really, really good job of making a pretty interesting schedule. And ironically, 19 of our 22 matches are going to be televised.
I heard that.
I'm guessing the other ones may be streamed, the other 3. But think about that. We're in the spring. That's, super high percentage of our matches being televised. And so I think it'll be interesting for fans, and people will be able to watch, even though the hard part will be not having anybody in Devaney.
Did you know that 100% of your matches are on the radio?
Yes, that's always a given, and that's really, really important. And
so you don't even need to watch the TV. You just can tune into the radio for every match.
I tell Big Ten every year, we don't need announcers because we just pipe in the radio feed to the Big Ten broadcasts, and that's what everybody would rather hear anyway.
Yeah, I've heard people try to sync up the video with our radio broadcast so they can get our commentary, but sometimes it's nice to be able to see what's going on.
Yeah. So many people have written to me and told me that they turn off the volume and listen to the radio and watch it on TV.
That's awesome. Well, if the 3 or 4 matches that aren't on TV, they are on the radio. We come through here at Husker Sports Network.
Yep. So, awesome.
I have a quick question. So let's just simulate a scenario here. Say you're playing, you're about to play a team back-to-back nights, or let's say you play Friday night and you're about to play them again Saturday, and you have a couple players test positive for COVID, they have to sit out. Question A is, how long do they have to sit out? And then question B is, let's say, you mentioned you're low at the setter position or the outside hitter position. Let's say those couple positive tests are in those positions and you don't have a setter, or you don't have an outside hitter. Do you just forfeit that match, or do you try to move someone, have like a libero or someone else play in one of those positions?
The kind of the rules, I think, and we don't have these officially in writing yet, but the model, I think, is going to be, if you have 5 hitters and a setter, you can play. If you go only 4 hitters and no setters, then you're not playing. So in our schedule, we're not going to make things up. So it's going to be, they'll get canceled. So,
Okay.
that's going to be the interesting thing on the season is how many matches can everybody play?
And then do you know how long the girls have to sit out if they do test positive, what that looks like?
If you test positive, you're out 17 days.
And is that for coaching staff as well?
Everybody. If you test positive, you're out 17 days. Not for coaching staff, no, because we don't have to go through, the athletes have to go through a heart screening because they found some evidence that COVID can affect the heart. And so they have to go through a screen. So our last player that tested positive, she was feeling great. She was had a cold and sniffles for a day, but she still had to wait it out and then go through these screenings. And then you actually physically see a heart doctor that he okays it that you can go, because they found a small percentage of athletes. And, of course, the basketball player at Florida, they haven't said if it was COVID he had in the summer, but he collapsed in a game. And so that, it kind of gets everybody's attention. And so we'd rather be safe than sorry.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, before we bring in today's special guest, I want to remind you all that today's episode is presented by US Cellular. US Cellular is proud to be the official wireless partner of the Huskers. All right, do you know who today's special guest is?
No, that was a pretty cool read though there. We having a sponsor of this show, US Cellular, and
yeah, it's hard to say, cellular.
Pretty good, pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, so thanks to
Big
them.
time.
Big time, yeah. Thank you, US Cellular. So do you know who the guest is?
Maybe. Is it gonna be Baby Madden?
No. Madden is we need to get her on when you're holding her. Okay. and do the podcast while you're holding her and let Husker Nation see you as a grandpa.
But usually when I'm holding her, she wants to train. She's either doing arm swing work, we're working on jumping.
That's actually very true. And you're training her with her left hand, right?
Well, we're on the left, we're on the right, both hands.
Okay.
Got to be like Jen Salamu, you can hit with either hand.
That's right. I remember that. Okay, well, it's time to bring in our special guest, but she's nowhere to be found. So can you yell across the office and tell her to get on?
I just did.
Well, today we're going to bring in Lindsay, used to be Wishmeyer, but now Peterson. She's the director of volleyball operations, so she deals with you literally every single day. And how long has she been your director of ops? 15 years?
2006.
And then she played for you before then.
Yep. So Lindsay's been a part of all 4 national championships, 1 as a player, 3 as a director of ops. And
she's the secret weapon.
Yeah. So I basically have known her, and when she
did you recruit her?
No, Coach Pettit did. And the other thing is she played 3 positions. How many players in college volleyball can say they played 3 positions?
Lindsay's probably the only one.
But so anyway, when she told me she wanted to go into coaching, I said, well, you got to go away from here to see what the real world's like. And so I'd stayed a little bit in touch with her. She was at, I think, West Virginia. and then at Colorado State, or Northern Colorado. And then we hired her back here as director of ops. So she kind of went into that world and came back and has been here ever since.
We're going to have her tell her story. Hello, Lindsay.
Hello. Good to see you, Mama.
Hey, thank you. Welcome to Conversation with the Cooks.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, you are one of my favorite people, so I'm excited to have you on today. And we were just talking about just you and your journey, and I want to know, did you prefer playing for Coach Cook or do you prefer working for Coach Cook? Or maybe which one was worse?
Yeah. Well, he's gotten a little soft in his old age, so softer now as a coach. I'd like to play under him this way just to see how it go. But no, I think I got the best of both worlds. I got the tough guy, he was hard on us and pushed us to be, to the highest level. And now I get to work with him and see him, how he's developed and grown as a coach and adjusted to the differences that you deal with athletes these days. And I get to witness that and work with him in that area. So, I joke, I'm like, geez, we would never have gotten away with that if we would have played, or you're too soft on him. No, but hey, I guess it's how it is these days. So
he actually admitted that he's gotten softer the other night at dinner.
Oh, well, good.
I know. So at least he knows that he's soft.
Yeah, it's not just me saying that.
Yeah.
Well, I have a new New Year's resolution now.
Oh, now you do.
Be tougher.
Okay, good. I'll hold you to it.
Yeah.
Lindsay, do you have a New Year's resolution? We were talking about those.
I don't do a traditional resolution. I kind of do it as like, now that I'm a mom, it's more like my resolution is to try to, have more grace each day as a mom, as a, wife, as a coworker, whatever it is. And just, I feel like I'm not going to say I'd like to lose 15 pounds, even though, hey, I'll take it if I can. But
you look great.
Just the patience. And I think, as you've learned too, being a parent, each year and each day is sometimes a challenge. So those days, and if I can do it gracefully and more gracefully than I did the year before, I feel like success.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about your personal life and especially your kids. You have 4 boys.
Yeah.
So give us their ages. Drake's the oldest.
Drake's the oldest. Drake's 7, is in 1st grade. And then Jax is in kindergarten and just turned 6 right before Christmas. And then I have Ronan, who is 3, but acts like he's 15, I think. And then my little man is Nash, and he's going to be 15 months here at the end of the month. Okay.
And then you have a dog. You just got a puppy.
Just have a puppy, CJ. Not probably one of the better decisions Ty and I made as parents, getting a puppy with 4 young boys and going through all that. But yeah, CJ is adjusting. I mean, why not add a little more craziness to our lives?
You have some cats.
We have some cats, but they're just barn cats. So.
And then you have some horses too, right?
I got horses. I have 2 horses right now, and working on maybe add to that group.
Okay, so
a couple of boys are wanting their own horse now.
Do you ever get any sleep?
I joke with Ty sometimes. I'm like, wow, was it me or was that a good night's sleep? I think we were only up 2 or 3 times. He didn't make it up both 2 or 3 times, but it is what it is. And I know these years are going to go by quick, but I'm kind of actually excited for road trips because I catch up on my sleep road trips. So Ty's a little jealous that I'm going to be traveling next week.
And Ty's your husband, and you and Ty met at Northern Colorado. A lot of people don't know this, but he was the football strength coach.
Well, he was the strength coach for the entire, the whole athletic department.
Okay.
There was only one strength coach for all the sports. He was the head strength coach oversaw all the sports. And we actually met because when I got there on my interview, one of the reasons the coach brought me there is he asked if I would run the strength and conditioning program for him, because at Nebraska and knowing all about Husker Power, he thought that'd be great to implement there. And I was like, well, I can try. I'm not really a fitness expert in that area. I've gone through the program, but I don't know that I could really break it down. So when I first met Ty, the coach introduced us and just said, yeah, she's going to be taking over the program. So I'm sure he thought highly of me the very first time we met. But yeah, he was a strength and conditioning coach there. That was really where his passion, I think, is coaching and stuff. And now he just gets to come along and coach the boys these days.
Another thing Husker Nation probably doesn't know is he actually trained me all through high school. And I have to give a lot of credit to Ty because I was in the best shape of my life. And I'm small. I mean, you're small too for a volleyball player. So you need, all the muscle power you can get. And Ty put me on another level. And I have to give him credit for part of the reason why I was able to play at such a high level is because my body was in such good shape.
Yeah, I remember some of those mornings, him saying, I've Lauren today. I'm going to try this workout on her. And poor Lauren. You might lose Lauren as a client, but yeah, glad you stuck with him.
Okay, so you started coaching and ended up a director of ops. So take us through, long story short, of your journey from where you started to where, how you got to where you're at now.
Yeah, well, volleyball was always such a huge part of my life. My dad was a coach. So growing up, I was kind of a gym rat while he coached because we would get to hang out after practice. And then when I got to college, coaching was kind of in the back of my mind, but then I was a business major and I really wanted to be in a business suit every day and work in the business world, I thought. And then Coach Cook actually told me during my playing career, I should consider being a coach. And so my 5th year, when I was done playing, I still had a semester left, a fall semester left before I graduated. So I came on as the student assistant to see a little bit more of the coaching firsthand and if I liked it. And I wasn't ready to give up volleyball, so decided I would try that route and actually got hired right after I graduated at Virginia Tech. And went out there and coached for a year. And then the position opened at Northern Colorado and I decided I thought I wanted to maybe get my master's in sports administration. And they had a great department there. And Coach Pettit had reached out to me because he was mentoring that program at the time. And he reached out to me to tell me that there was going to be positions if I'd be interested in taking a grad position to coach and get a little bit closer to home. So it worked out that I went there, but 2 days before our season started, our head coach left and took a firefighting position. And so the assistant coach and myself as a GA ended up taking over the program. And she was 25, I was 24, and we were running a program that had just moved to Division I. And so I didn't work on my master's at the time because of that transition. And then I came back here to work camps, and I'd always had the hope of getting back to Nebraska, whether it be a coach or in some role. And John had told me that this is a possibility that the director of ops was leaving. And I had done pretty much everything the director of ops position entails at my other coaching gigs. And so it worked out that I made it back here, and gosh, I've been here for quite a while now. Now I realized it last night, in fact, in our meeting when I was talking about one of the matches during my career, and I said, well, you guys may not have been born yet. And I think only a couple of them raised their hands that they had been born. That really was like a wake up call of how old I am and how long I've been here.
Dad, do you have any questions for Lindsay? You're awfully quiet over there.
No, I'm just listening. I thought when we hired her, she did have her master's. So
no, I got my master's here.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, Lindsay, I kind of call you Nebraska volleyball's 7th woman because you're really the one who keeps this program up and running and so successful, and you make it easy for the coaches and the players. And tell Husker Nation, take us behind the scenes. What are you doing on a daily basis? And I know every day is different, but how do you keep Nebraska volleyball at such a high level? And just tell us the ins and outs of your job. And I don't think Husker Nation truly knows like what goes on behind the scenes. So just take us there and talk us through kind of what you're dealing with and worrying about, you know, constantly on that day-to-day basis?
Yeah, well, one of the most intriguing parts about this position is that it changes. And here I am in my 14th, 15th season. And here we are again going through something that we've never gone through. So it'll be another totally different year. But behind the scenes and the organizing, it's just, I feel like my job is to make the coach's job easier. So whether it is, you know, organizing travel, setting meetings for them, for Coach Cook with administration or his radio or whatever it might be, just so his schedule is kept up to date, running our camps and clinics to budget. So I constantly have my hands on how we run money through and process through in our program, and the planning of what we're going to need each year as far as travel goes, as far as what we're bringing in for teams. I help coach work on the schedule to bring in teams for our tournaments each year. And then that correlates back towards our budget, because I need to plan accordingly for what those teams and stuff are going to require to host those tournaments. But day to day, it's, you know, answering the phones to daily emails to right now making sure that our testing schedule is set up and everyone knows the logistics of getting tested daily, and then making sure our travel party is submitted to the Big Ten each week so they know who we're testing and who can travel and who's going to be allowed in our tier 1, tier 2 for testing, and talking with hotels, because each state obviously has different state regulations right now as far as what they can provide for us. So whether we are doing our meals in-house, if we have to cater meals in while we're on the road, if we have to work with the bus company, get our bus driver tested, pilots, all that. I mean, it was a pretty quick turnaround trying to get hotels and charters and everything right now with the timing of the schedule coming out. So things are a little more rushed this year and there's a little more uncertainty. So we're going to kind of go into next weekend and see how it goes, and probably have to make adjustments from there, just because it's the first time, and each state and each institution that we go to has a little bit different list of protocols and standards that we have to meet.
I'm sure it's been a nightmare trying to, because the schedule just came out, and then, yeah, you're trying to coordinate the charters and the buses and
Right.
hotels and meals. And I mean, and you're not just doing this for the coaching staff. I mean, it's the players, it's even, you know, back when JB and I were able to travel with the team, I mean, you're helping coordinate for JB and I, and we're just some radio personality. It's, I mean, you're really covering the entire travel party, and that's, you know, that's Nate Poland, the SID. I mean, that's anyone else who's, if Pat Logston, you know, whoever's going, it's, you're taking care of all of that.
Yeah, we try to, I mean, I think that's one of the advantages to having played for Coach is obviously I know his expectations and standards that he has. And so having done it for so many years, it helps me as our travel party changes each year and people come in and out of who's going, just to put everybody on the same page and kind of take charge of everybody. Maybe some people appreciate me telling them where they need to be at what time, but I just think it makes the trip go easier and keeps us, you know, routine and on schedule. That's important when we go on the road. So, but it's easy because I work with a lot of great people. I mean, it's easy to keep them organized, and everyone's kind of on the same page and has the same goals. Then when you tell them to do something, they're more likely to listen than everyone has. If everyone has a different agenda, it doesn't work so well.
I wouldn't say Coach Cook has high expectations. I would say he's high maintenance.
Well,
but
yeah.
Do you
Sometimes
have
I get those confused.
Can you just give us like one or two good stories? You can roast him. This is your opportunity. Give us a Coach Cook high maintenance story.
Well, sometimes at hotels, there's instances where he doesn't like where his room is located if he can hear the elevator, or maybe he doesn't like what the room smells like. It might have just been cleaned, or might have laid new carpet recently, so he'll ask to move him rooms because he doesn't like the smell of that room. But you know, those are just a couple of, we all know the food. I mean, he likes fresh eggs and fresh squeezed orange juice, and I've yet to find a hotel that lets me come back to the kitchen and make sure they do that. I request it, but I think until he finds an eggshell in his eggs, orange peel in his orange juice, he won't believe me that it's fresh squeezed in real eggs.
Yeah, you can't have those fake eggs.
Yeah.
What's your biggest challenge in managing everything that you have to manage in your role?
I would say that it's just making sure, like, you can be organized and managed, and I could reach out to the bus company 15 times, but the bus still may not show up when you get there. And that's always a constant. I know as soon as we land, the first words out of John's mouth will be, "Where's our bus?" And so, I mean, it's just how it is. Like, you can be organized and some things fall through. Some things don't happen as you have planned. So I think just keeping that in mind, that as much as you have planned, there's still little things that come up. And I feel like every trip there's something like that, no matter what. And then trying to keep everybody on board calm. Usually everyone's pretty good. There's only one person that probably stresses out the most about it. And I'll let you guess who that might be. But I mean, just making sure that it doesn't affect the trip.
Speaking of stress, how do you keep, we know Coach Cook does get stressed. How do you kind of help him de-stress? And you're kind of that person who, especially on the road, who assists him with that. So what are your keys to keeping high maintenance, highly stressed out coaches, calm and cool and collected?
Well, I think just reassuring him of, what the team has done in the past and situations, and to remember to control what you can control and to focus on that. And also just that our team feeds off him so much. So trying to keep him calm, and even if he has to fake it is good. So little reminders of taking deep breaths, or, if he's going to say something, maybe put his head down instead of saying it so that the court can see it, or whatever it is. But also, sometimes we'll work out together on the road, and I know that's important to keep him, in his routine and burn off stress. And sometimes we'll run, if we're at a place for a long time, sometimes we run to church, and it's just little things like that, or making sure, maybe it's going and getting a chocolate chip cookie after a pregame meal, just to help him have that before the game, to help, add a little sweetness to his mouth instead of being so worried about the game. So it's different. And I mean, he's done a great job, and I think it's because of the fact that he has such high expectations and wants, obviously, to perform at the top level every night. And when you're dealing with 18 to 21-year-olds, I get why it could be stressful.
Yeah. Well, I want to see how well you two know each other, since you work so closely and you've known each other for so long. So, Lindsay, I'm going to ask you a set of questions about Coach Cook, and we'll see how well you answer. And then, Coach Cook, I'm going to grill you and see how well you know Lindsay.
Got it.
Okay. So, Lindsay, what is Coach Cook's favorite cookie flavor?
Oh, chocolate chip.
Easy. Okay. How many bottles of Aquafina does he need right before a match?
He needs 3. And if the match goes long, sometimes I have to grab him one in between 2 and 3.
Beautiful. Okay. What does he always carry in his pocket during a game?
Mints.
Do you know what type of mints?
Oh, it's the, oh gosh, I can't think of the name of them. They're in little tins. I can't think of the name.
Altoids?
Altoids, yes. Altoids.
Yeah.
And they're the mint flavor. It's not cinnamon or anything like that.
Like peppermint.
Yeah,
I think
right.
Peppermint, white peppermint. Okay, so you passed with flying colors. All right, Coach Cook, let's put you in the hot seat.
Great.
What are Lindsay's kids' names?
Drake, Jax, Ronan, Nash.
Nice. Okay.
And her dog's name is CJ. I just learned that today.
Do you know what CJ stands for?
No.
Lindsay, you can tell him.
Cooper Jr.
Cooper Jr. Okay.
Cooper
I was going to guess it had something to do with Cooper.
Yeah, Coop was your old dog.
Yep.
Okay. Did the kids name CJ, by the way?
No, we decided that we were going to come home with the name because if we let them decide, we'd still be trying to figure out.
All right. Coach Cook, what event does Lindsay compete in on a horse?
Barrel racing.
Okay. A lot of people don't know that, Lindsay. You are a really good barrel racer.
Well, I try. I'm not. It's just a hobby. It's not something that I devote a ton of time to. I was able to devote more time to it with COVID, actually. So that was really fun. But yeah, it's something I enjoy. And
you go and compete.
Yeah, and in my plan down the road, when I told Ty in our retirement, we're gonna get a nice trailer and we're gonna travel, and I'm gonna have a horse that is a little bit faster than my current horse, and we're gonna try that. We'll see how well that goes.
All right, Coach, last question. What does Lindsay like to order from Starbucks?
I was going to say I have no idea, but it's not coffee. It's tea, green tea.
Yes. Good job. I didn't think you'd pass all those questions.
Yeah, that
Lindsay,
was
he
a
does
tough
pay
one.
attention.
I'm impressed. Yeah.
I am too. Good job. All right, Lindsay, at the end of our podcast, or at the end of each episode, we always do a confession and a lesson. Coach Cook hates this.
Yeah.
But the confession can just be something that people don't know about you, a juicy story, whatever you want to say there. And then the lesson is just some words of advice, words of wisdom, something that, people who listen to this or watch this episode can just take with them, a piece of advice. So if you're ready, I'll let you go first.
Okay.
If you're not ready, I'll have Coach Cook go first.
Yeah, let's let him go first quick.
Okay.
That's what we did with Russ Rhodes too. So yours better be good because his was great.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Lauren, I'm actually made notes on this one. So
what?
Yeah.
Wait a second. So one of your confessions has to do what we talked about?
No.
Oh. No. Your confession can be like from 20 years ago. I mean, confession can be whatever you want.
Yeah.
But usually he's trying to think of something on the spot and he never prepares. And he's like, what is a confession again? What's a lesson again? And it's like, we've been doing this for over a year now and he still doesn't get with it. He made notes, so I'm very impressed by this.
Nice.
Because it came to me while I was listening.
Okay.
So the first confession is that Lindsay is my spiritual advisor, and she lets me know when it's the holidays and when we're supposed to be in church, and she makes sure we always have a church option when we're on the road, and she's always checking in with me on stuff and sends me little religious type themed gifts, books, quotes. So she's one of the things, her roles is she's my spiritual advisor, I call her.
I don't think that's in her role description. So that's awesome that she goes above and beyond for you.
She's a very, very spiritual woman, and that's why God gave her 4 boys. Being around these girls all the time, it's the only way she can stay sane. Okay, lesson. This lesson was a lesson that I share with our team sometimes. So when Lindsay was, I can't remember, she was a freshman. I mean, she might've been a freshman. And I think we're having a morning practice, and I get a call from Lindsay, and she says, "Hey, I'm going to be late." And I'm like, are you kidding me? And she goes, "Well, I'm coming from home, her farm, which is like an hour away." And I said, "Why are you late?" Because I'm thinking she slept in or something. She goes, "Well, we're trying to deliver this calf and we can't get it out. And we're going to get out really soon. And I'll just be like 20 minutes late." And that kind of like, I've heard every excuse in the book on being late, and that was the only time she was ever late her entire career. And, but it's a great lesson for, farm girl working and trying to still get to practice, but calling me and letting me know what's going on. And so that's when I really started gaining a lot of respect for Lindsay, just how she handled that. And again, being a farm girl, she was tough She played 3 positions in her college career, played every match of her college career, started every match, and was a captain and did a great job. And she was not a highly recruited player, and probably has the lowest Husker Performance Index score of all time.
Hey, Lindsay gets after it in workouts. You should try. Well, you worked
I
out with
work
her.
out with her. I run stadiums with her.
Yeah. She kicks both of our butts in workouts. I've worked out with her too.
All right. Well, my little confession, first of all, to straighten that story out, it wasn't like we were in a fall season and I was late for practice. It was one of our winter individual training sessions, because that's when we calve, first of all. And second of all, I wouldn't be trying to miss practice during the fall. I wasn't trying to miss practice anyway, but it was a winter workout. So I don't want to feel like I was not putting the team first on that one.
Did the calf get safely delivered?
Heck yeah. Oh yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So confession would be that this is maybe, I can say this because I know my boys aren't listening, but Ty is not a big fan of sugar in our household or candy or anything. So I tend to have a little bit of a sweet tooth. And so the boys, if they are to get candy at Halloween or Christmas or anything like that, a lot of times Ty bags it up and throws it away. Well, a lot of times I'll go grab that bag and bring that bag of candy back into my office to have in my office. And it's not just for me, it's for, like, Kelly comes in and has it, the girls come into the office and have it. But I mean, I can't let M&Ms go to waste. So the boys get one bag of M&Ms and the rest usually end up in my candy dish in the office. So.
Lindsay, I have to tell you, one of Coach Cook's confessions on an earlier episode was that he goes and steals the candy out of your candy jar.
He probably takes my Trader Joe's, like.
Yep, he knows where it's hidden.
Yeah.
I don't do the candy.
I do those in my drawer, not on my candy dish.
Okay, that's what he takes. What's in the drawer?
Yeah, I figured it. They disappear a little quicker than I thought. So, and then my lesson was, this was a while ago that this popped up, but I think it's a great thing to keep in mind during these times. And I shared it with our team as well, is it's a little quote, and it just said, worry looks around, regret looks forward, or regret looks back, and faith looks forward. And I think just right now, as we approach this season, how important it is that we all kind of have faith that it's going to go okay for us, and that we hope we don't look back and regret what this time, during this COVID time, that we didn't make the most of it, and we were able to come out and become a better team because of it. So I felt like that's kind of a great lesson that we can apply to our team and staff during this time.
I love that. All right. I'm skipping out on confession and lesson this week because
oh, come on.
I'm going to start letting our guest, whoever our guest is, fill in for me. So thank you all for tuning in or watching this month's episode. Lindsay, thank you so much I know you're crazy busy, but for taking time out of your schedule to be with us. Conversation with the Cooks is presented by US Cellular, so thank you to US Cellular as well. And we'll be back next month, which also happens to be my birthday month. So we'll start celebrating.
I think you should get an extra special gift this year, Lauren, because you made your dad a grandpa. So that's something
I know.
I think deserves, like, a trip to Cabo or something.
It's your birthday month too.
Right. So maybe we can both go to Cabo.
Yeah, you can send us both to Cabo.
I think I've already tried to take you twice, Lindsay.
I've gone once.
Oh, you went once? Okay.
You know, can we tell that story? Coach Cook, can you tell that story really quick?
Which one?
Well, just how every time, tell Husker Nation how if you guys win a natty, you take your staff on a trip, and how the past 2 times what has happened with Lindsay.
Oh, but Lindsay went once?
I went last time. It was the time before, it was the very first time after we won in Omaha in 15 that we got the flu bug in our family. And so I stayed home. I missed the trip. Thank God I didn't go. It was just the kids throwing up before I went, but it would have been the day we were traveling that it hit Ty and I. And let me tell you, having everyone in your house sick at the same time is not ideal. And I couldn't imagine being in Cabo doing that. That would have been, the worst would have been I'd been in a hotel room when I should have been on the beach.
Okay, but you got to go the second time.
I went the second time. Yep, we went the second time, and it was incredible.
And Coach, why did you start doing this? Just as
I
extra
think in
motivation?
2015, I popped off one day. I said, yeah, if we win a natty, I'll take you guys to Cabo. Yeah. Just, and of course, as soon as we win, Danny, I think, is like, we're going to Cabo. We're going to Cabo. I completely forgot about it. So, but I kept my word.
You'll have to tell some Cabo stories on the next episode.
We got some great Cabo stories.
We'll have to bring Lindsay back to help tell some of those. All right, well, hopefully by next month, we'll have played a few volleyball games, and maybe we'll have to do another birthday giveaway. So be on the lookout for that. And anyways, can't wait to see how the Huskers do this season. Be sure to tune in to the radio, or as Coach Cook said, I guess, watch TV. You don't even hype your own daughter. It's fine. But can't wait for you all to see who our guests will be next month. So thanks again, and go Big Red.